Today I'd like to bring to you this edition about digging a water well. So if you have your plot somewhere and you've been wondering what kind of water source you're going to use and you've settled on the well as an option, then I think this video is for you. So I've been featuring a lot of videos about people's homes who have been living mostly in alternative forms of housing, or are living off-grid, or are living in affordable homes, and it is time for me to start investing in the same. I think psychologically probably I've just been window shopping for the best options for myself, and at this point in my effort to start living off-grid, I thought maybe I should just share with you our day trying to make our well. And in some of the videos that I posted in the past, I've noticed that there is a section of the audience who do not quite understand what off-grid living means. So I remember there's a comment I read. Someone was trying to explain to the other who had wondered aloud what off-grid living is, and she was trying to tell them that off-grid living is just another word for rural life, you know. So she was trying to say that off-grid living is just the way our grandparents used to live, and we are now town buddies calling rural life off-grid living. While this could be relatively true, part of it is not, because off-grid living means that, just like the word goes, you are living off the grid. This means that you are not connected to any power line in terms of electricity supply. You are also not connected to sewer lines. Yeah. The next thing is that you are not relying on any piped water. So if you are living in the county and there is a water system from the county that supplies the area and you are connected, then definitely you are not off-grid. So it's either you are relying on rainwater or any other form of water. So in this case, in an effort to live off-grid, I'm also trying to escalate the fact that I can have my own supply of water. So what you're seeing on your screen today is just a team of people who came together to assist me dig up this well. And then what is happening today is that there's another team of people who've been brought abroad, on board as casuals. So they're going to help insert the culvert inside the well. So we've been digging this well for the past maybe 2 weeks, and so far today we are really excited because we've now reached a level where water is coming from down. So being that the kind of soil in this area is unstable, the fundi advised that we use a bit of culverts to stabilize the walls in the well, and then part of it will be stabilized using bricks. So what you're seeing today is just the very laborious process of trying to insert the culverts into the well. This is my first time witnessing such an activity, and it was really exciting to witness this, and I hope you take notes, especially to my audience who've been asking about fundis who can help them sink their own wells in their compound. So after this, I'm going to share with you the artisan's number in the description box. Feel free to reach him. I've worked with him for the past maybe 2.5 weeks now, and he's an expert in what he does. So he's specialized in just well construction, and I hope you also realize that a well is not necessarily a borehole. So most of the time you find that a borehole is sunk deeper using some kind of metallic machines, and I understand that it is more expensive. So when you're sinking a well, usually people just get inside the hole and keep digging and getting the sand or the soil out until they get to that level where water is now flowing freely. While in comparison to a borehole, you know, they'll come with a whole truck carrying those metallic gadgets. I'm not an expert in this, but at least from what I've seen, even on social media, and some time back while I was in my hood, I was able to see one being sunk. So usually it is not a wide hole. They're just machines that are going under, and they go very deep, because if you check the length of the metallic part that goes underground is usually very, very long. So I think that one is more reliable in terms of water supply. And then most of the time I think they hit the waterbed right where it is, because usually the water that comes out is very clean and comes with a lot of pressure. So I hope the difference is distinct. So back to our well today. These culverts are very heavy. You realize that there are 8 people rolling them about, and these 8 people are the ones who are going to help sink it down. So before this process started, the fundi constructed 2 winches. So these winches are made out of wood or timber, if you like, and the timber was part of the requirements that he wanted on ground before the process started. So we got 8 huge logs that were cut down into favorable lengths, and then they were put up together using 6-inch nails, 5-inch nails, and 4-inch nails. So it was a strong winch. You'll see it. So they are using the winch to wheel down the culvert, and the purpose of having these people on board is that they're going to help control the rate at which the culvert goes down. So the orange rope that you see the fundi now tying there, they jokingly kept referring to this one as the seat belt. So the fundi himself is going to sit on top of the culvert as the rest of the team gently winds down the winch so that the culvert goes down gently. Then while he's sitting on it, he now controls it so that it is not stuck on either side of the well. As you can see, we also have chicken today, being that we found water. So these people are from let me give you a brief history. So the 2 main fundis that I'm working with come from the western part of Kenya. So they speak Luya. And in the Luya culture, most of the time, chicken is a very precious part of their meals. So in case of celebrations of any manner, say their weddings or funerals, usually chicken must feature there. Just like most of the time in the Luo community, you'll find fish during such kind of celebration. So today is an honorable day, and being that we first found water, then now we are going to slaughter the chicken and have a small celebration just to mark to mark the beginning of a successful event. So notice the kind of activity that is now taking place. The winch is gently being wound by the rest of the team, while the main fundi and these others are standing on the side to make sure that the culvert now gets right next and above the well so that it starts getting down. But now there's a problem. There's a problem because the rope, you can see the rope, there's friction in between the culvert and the rope. So it has started getting cut off, which is risky because taking chances with this means that the culvert can actually cut it off kabisa. Then it falls down, and that will be a problem. It either breaks or it blocks down the well. So now they have to take it back again and then unwind the rope and start the process all over again.
Jaribu kusimamisha. Fungueni, alafu tufanyeni watu moja moja akuje huku. Hao wengine washika steering. Tusimamishe hii huko. Tusimamisha hao, mtakuwa mnafungua. Wewe shika steering.
Leta bwana.
Mtu moja moja aende huko.
Leta huko. Oya, bana itu wewe guys. Release.
Sawa. Fungua kidogo tena.
Bwana Gini wait baba. Kaka madu kikiji. Kai ndio maana ni plastiki kabla nikike hapo.
Fungua tu.
Nyaru ndio baba ndio ngelo.
Kako ngo sido ngeni plastiki.
Utaweka kitu hapo. Sawa gani hiyo?
Kote ngadi hiyo. Udah bei.
Ni play sana.
Rudi dino bwana. Ino wati rudi.
Aí, fungua. Olha, quando que tira?
Mana cola? Oke di. Ngoja rudisha huko. Choruri ni funga. Kufungi kwa.
Twende.
Choruri matani. Choruri ndio sasa kamera wate.
Komo huko kwa.
Ngoja. Asante. Msongeze kwa kiasi. Mkono hiyo load yote. Hiyo kidogo.
Na hiyo load yote. Haya. Karibu. Mungkin kubiro.
Ahí es cuando llaman.
Đã lo chia cái nó đo cái cà phê, đã lo có tiền mà. Có chốt cái nào? Ở trên. Quá chị. Teremsha. Itu lagi nokoro ke ngaji bwana.
Kwa muda mwingine ndio ya maji kabisa.
Ada Kiswahili dikasih. Ini gini. Itu sih nanti kan. Ini kita sengaja buat. Beli sudah. Kita sengaja buat.
Kosa. Nimefika? Nani bata?
Kama hali coconut.
And so now that one of the gutters one of the culverts is already down, this process seems hopeful. Initially, I was very worried. I was wondering now how was this going to be done. But right now, I feel a lot encouraged, and I'm just waiting for the fundi who is down in the wall, in the hole. He's undoing the ropes. So every time one culvert is put inside the hole, he has to remain down there and pull it out. You notice that at the edges of the culvert, there are spaces. So he trimmed down some of the spaces so that the rope could fit in a way that once it gets down there, he's able to undo the knots and then he pulls it out. So as much as the culverts are going to be lying one on top of the other, he's still able to pull out the ropes. So this is combined effort. I think ideally if you have enough money or you have enough funds set aside for this project, you can actually hire, what is it called? A crane. Yeah, I think the winch in this case now replaces the work that would usually be done by a crane. So you notice he swiftly does that, moves out of the hole, then repeats the same process over and over again until all the 4 culverts are down into the well. So this is what you're going to witness on your screen moving forward.
Bisa kabisa.
Maka wacha mlokika kwa nyombo.
Ukuje tu paka hapa hivi tena ndio.
Alodi mase nyama ndogo.
Aiwa krogi
Inendo ndito raiwa kono. Doguru jwa kono. Kono doge mate kono hivi kugine kono kama.
Haya. Sasa, kwa kile state nyama ndogo.
Eh.
Hapo. Hapo.
Kasi.
Afika sawa?
wana wakaso.
Dia kazi yangu leo.
Ndidi umida.
Ndio gore hapo ayo.
Nako je mangne kwa wadi
Chunga mguu. Kada stanki ke. Wando gitero ni. Ani ngere kwa de gomodo.
Bana kuiwa irukanyo.
Wade.
Yu agri.
Mata kwa yu agre meno yu.
Meno yu agre ayo menya kidinde. Ngeno ngana ka lokai ngina makula.
Ani wi kwa makala. Ya wao dima.
Dori. Ah, tuende.
Dogo. Bodi lege.
Biseko no
Hivi gani dege ya dege. Bana ritu ngana kwa mshi. Situ kan tokore chigeti.
Bora que lo que no hace speed ya.
Manu wood mena.
Pikicha sio.
Rajanya ada ya. Ngene ate kamu ya ama.
Oh, mana kunyi udah kenapa?
Mana kamu. Kali ini kenapa ate kau gica?
Mana kamu?
Ate kau apa? Hah? Ate kau.
Jadi bisa.
Jangan kenapa ni aku.
Ah, isa ni juga. Nama ini nama kimur.
Hah?
Nama
Orang ngaku tak?
awit kamu tu.
Aku menyuruh ya.
Oh, lu. Harus pas awis mama be awis waktu tak boleh di.
Dia nggak boleh ate ikawe.
Hah?
Dia nggak boleh ate ikawe.
Ada ya?
Ini boleh pakai yode. Nyake nango.
Itu sih.
Sawa.
Sasa ya kuacha kijana hiki tu ndio.
Anu kau dikenda. Dibuka kira mata. We.
Wadia kibango. Awingana apa ina kasom saya semua kedua.
Bakal nyanyi mau gotek.
Ikuwe kwa frame. Okay.
Mungkin alma beti njiri ama aja moko. Kaka ngato koge ona kogini buta la. Ni beti njiri la. Wai. Tuwe unasema kasi kwenye wari yambo.
Ngatari, wari yambo ngatari kocha biro ni jama.
Ini sata go indicate.
Kalau ngata manganya.
Oja dia.
Obolo, wala.
Kwa kina beti du ngata yi.
Sawa.
Ilo keni. Hai wala keni. Madu. Pendua ka penduka.
Ah, mai mone udu malo. Mai mangi kon. Mate mate gebu.
Hai wadu. Wala po
Mai madiebu.
Poi moron. Poi mkubwa. Poi na ngamukwa lugha nyingi. Nani?
Mai apoi malego. Dai ka nena bena dai ka na poi.
Ini saya tinggal ada.
And so at this point, the day's work is slowly come to an end, even though it's still quite early in the day. And we are also busy trying to make sure that our meal gets ready in time, because the kind of work that our fundis have had to undergo is quite laborious. So of course they are going to get hungry in a few hours time. And the good part is that the other winch, you know, there were two winches that were made. I told you earlier when the video started. So you see this winch that is now using to fetch some water, and luckily we have water already, although it is still very dirty, and they'll have to put out the water so that the digging continues quite a bit. But for now, this is really looking hopeful. So this is actually the water that they are now going to use to start off the construction. So after the culvert goes down, now they start arranging the bricks along the mouth of the well coming up, so that the well is well protected, especially if you're in an area where the soil is quite unstable. Then this is a practice that is usually very common. Most of the time you'll not find people using the culverts, but for stability, it is quite a lot of work and quite an investment. So if you can, I'd advise that you use the culverts. If not, then you can just let the fundis use bricks all the way coming up. So in the spirit of off-grid living, I know you may be wondering why go into all the trouble if, of course, you can harvest rainwater. So rainwater is an option. Actually, when I started this project, I also thought about rainwater. I even went ahead and started window shopping for the water storage tanks that we have in the market. I looked for quite some, especially from reputable companies like Rototank. I also checked a few from Top Tank. There are quite a number in the market, and their prices were ranging from about maybe 8,500 Kenyan shillings for the 1,000 liter tank. That is from Rototank. And then if you go higher, and get the 20,000 liter cylindrical tank, then you'd have to part with 107,000 Kenyan shillings. So I looked at the math and I realized that however big the tank could be, a 20,000 liter tank is actually quite some storage. But there are times when I've visited some homes, and some of them I've shown you here on this channel. If you get back to the kind of editions that I did in the beginning, you'll realize that most of the people who are living off-grid are actually doing the water tank rainfall catchment system to supply their water needs. So there are times when they actually run out of water. That is what I realized. And this means that you need to have backup. Backup means that you'll have to probably hire a boozer. Is it called a boozer or a boozer? Yeah, that one. The tank that is usually brought as a trailer. So they empty water into your water tank. And I thought this one was in the long term going to be expensive. So this is why I chose the well option, because even during very dry seasons, if dug well, then the supply of water is constant. And for those people who are looking to use the well as an option, I'd like to tell you that you'll have to prepare about maybe 100,000 Kenyan shillings. This project is still ongoing, but as soon as I've done my math and it is over, I'll be able to tell you exactly how much I used and which areas you can put in, areas that you can consider to help you cut down on costs. So looking at 100k for a well that will serve me probably even during dry seasons versus a probably 20,000 liter cylindrical tank from Roto Tank at 107,000 Kenyan shillings, I think this is a better bargain. But I think it is still too soon to say, so I'll just wait and see. Hopefully the water that comes out of the well will not be salty. So this is what we have for today, but the digging is still yet to continue. So they're going to pull out all the water that is now available, which is quite minimal, so to speak, and we are at around 36 feet down. So let's wait and see how this goes, and be sure to stay on the channel so that I can tell you my first-hand experience about the same, so that if you're window shopping for a well or other sources of alternative sources of water, then you'll be able to check out. And then the other reason why I opted for a well is because if you're going off-grid, the other component of off-grid living is sustainability. So apart from just having yourself off the grid, you have to have a sustainable way of living. So you, in an off-grid faction, you are someone who is ready and able to provide for your own sources of food, either by keeping animals or by planting plants that are edible. And then you are also getting a source of income from where you stay. So in short, you are trying to escape the rat race, meaning that you do not have to get up early running to a job that gets you in at 8 and then you are running back home at 5. So in an off-grid kind of life, you are living in a sustainable fashion where you can, just like I've said, you can produce your own food, you can get your own water, your wastes are well managed, and then you have some source of living from the same space. So for me to go for the well option is because I am also thinking of if the water comes out nice, such that it is not salty, then I'll be able to consider options like using a water pump so that I'm able to sell water to the villagers. So that will be one source of income for this home. And then the other option for food, why I wanted to have a well in the compound, is because if I want to plant my own vegetables, for instance, I can do that all year round because now I have water. So if you are looking for such options, these are the things that you need to take into consideration before you settle on a source of water catchment plan.
Hapo